Well, hello there. This is Sawdust Solutions with Buck. I am Buck, and welcome to my shop. Today we're working on a jewelry organizer with some table saw tricks. I'll make this cut here. I'll show you how to do it without measuring with the material that we build this with. I'll set the blade height and the fence without a tape measure. Stick with me and I'll show you how we're going to do it. Today we're going to do a jewelry, I got display, but it's a jewelry organizer. This is going to be Christmas presents. And I sketched out a little something right here. It's going to have cork here and a couple of rods right here for them to hang stuff on, and some eyes, and across the bottom will be drawer pulls. She's going to go to an antique store and she just can't get an assortment of drawer pulls. And it's going to be 24 inches by 16 inches tall. This is a 3.5 inch shelf right here. So this is what we're going to try to build today. So let's get started. We're going to start cutting the vertical pieces, start cutting the horizontal piece and the 3.5 inch piece. And so on the table saw, what we're doing is cutting a box. Basically, it's a box. They're 1.5 inches by, this is 1/2 inch plywood, so it's 1/2 inch thick, 1.5 inch strips. The shelf on the bottom is going to be 3.5 inches. Then we will cut that to length with the Radial Arm Saw. All right, now that I've got the 3.5 piece cut, if you remember, it was going up about 2.5 inches up. Then there was going to be some knobs here. So what I've got is to cut the slots to accept these sides. So I have a way I do that. I'm going to show that to you right now. So what we need to do, it's one thickness in, and the height of it's where it cuts the top. So I need just a piece cut out right there. And the way I do it, this thing is excuse me. This thing is exactly the width of the top, which is 24 inches. So what I do, I got a 1, 2, 3 block that's real handy for different stuff. If y'all haven't ever seen one, these got holes where you can put 2 or 3 together. This is exactly a 90 degrees anywhere you look at it. So I use it to check my equipment. Plus it's 1 inch thick, 2 inches by 3 inches. So that's 1 by 2 by 3. And you can set your equipment up with that. So what I do, I set it because whenever you have a stop block, it needs to be back, or a measuring block, well, stop block. When you hit the blade, you don't want to be near it. In other words, you can't set your fence up and run along your fence. You'll wind up having a problem because you'll get trapped. This way, by the time I get to the fence, I'm free. And that 1 inch is being fine. So, however, if you're going to set 24 inches, you now have to set to 25. Now, I've set to 25. That means from the face of my block to the blade is 24. However, I don't want 24 because that's what I've got. I'll take one of the sides. Let's get this stuff over here. I'll take one of the sides. So what I'm doing, I'm cutting a notch out right here. So I'll put my side right here so I'll come in the width of the side. However, we're also going to take this and set the blade height. So I need this blade set. I got a mark on my table saw here. I turn my blade to the highest point of that circle. And I'll raise it up to where it's just under it, or just as close to it as I can get. So that's got the blade height set. This has got the offset set. Anytime you use the material you're working with, the better off you are. So we're going to go ahead and make that cut. The thing about it is, you can take a handsaw and clip them off, but what I'm showing you, say you had 100 of these to do, it'd be much quicker to do it with your saw. So I'm going to show you how I set up to cut these off in the right places. And again, you're using your side, but this time we're going to turn it to it's at highest place, and we're going to run the blade down to where just at the thickness. Okay. All right, now what we're going to do, we're still going to use this to measure with. I use my tenon jig. So mine goes right along the fence. So I take the tenon jig. So what we need to do is set this thing up to where it is. We need to be on this side of the blade, because if you set it on this side of the blade, it'll be a blade width too tall. However, so we need to be on this side of the blade. It's real close. Okay, there it is. All right, so we took this, one of our sides, to do your measuring for one of your sides. That's pretty cool, actually. So what I'm going to do is always, I'm going to take this side. Okay, looks like we're going to be fine. So let's go ahead and make those cuts. In this situation, if I had my fence all the way down to the bed of the table saw, that would have worked a little better. But what we have here now, we've got our thing set. So when you're setting up your tools and stuff, if you're in a situation where you can use the actual material you're building the thing with, for instance like this, I use the width and the thickness to set my blade and set my fence up with it. See, it doesn't matter how thick or how tall it was. Anytime you can do that, you'll wind up being more accurate. Because well, it don't matter how thick it is, you're using Well, actually, I didn't pull out a tape measure on these slots. And I was able to cut the slots to fit without using a tape measure. So anytime you can do that, you're going to be more accurate. Where the three pieces come together on the top, it's going to be a miter joint. So we'll cut the 45-degree angles on the table saw. What I'm going to do, I'm probably take a 1/4 inch and do the back. And then fill out the rest. But I'm going to go ahead and, this thing was square. It was. So what I'm going to do, first, I probably, well, let's go ahead and, yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and catch. Let's go ahead and catch it right here. You want to? Plenty of glue. I got my nail gun, or Brad nailer. We'll see if that thing didn't act right. Okay. So what I want to do is put, or if I put that in there like that, I should be able to slide that right down in there, shouldn't I? Or if I can work that out. All right. Can you get that? There it comes. So I'm gonna go all the way around it. I know 3 sides. Christmas presents. We are in this is August, so we're in the Christmas present mode. Making these jewelry organizers. Yeah, I guess it's what you'd call it. Okay, now that we got that, let's see if we can't line these things up like they ought to be. Okay, that feeling like it's where it should be. Okay. Well, all right. I need some. Probably needs. I'll grab me some clamps. And knows that there's one part of this operation of woodworking I've got a problem with. It dang glue up. I could do without the glue up, but it is all part of it. Usually I go through it and practice a time or two. But it is what it is. I don't know if I'm gonna use Brad nailer or not. We'll just let that set up and see how it goes. So the glue is set up enough to, I think we take it out of the clamps. So what I was thinking, about my brad nailer. You can see how I got this designed. It's 100% on the glue. So what I thought, I'd just shoot me a couple of brad nails, just a little extra support. I think it might, for no more than this. We're using plywood. I don't know if I've mentioned that, but we're using plywood. It's like this. But they wanted to paint them. Well, if you use cedar or something like that, you don't want to paint that, or oak or hickory or any hardwoods. But you want to take advantage of the wood. But plywood, while we're using plywood, that they wanted to paint it. Some of them want them white, and I think I got 6 or 7 of these to do. Some want them brown, so I'm still going to do one out of cedar. But what I'm thinking about, this might pay us in the long run to go ahead and shoot a couple nails in them. It gives it a little extra. So what I'm thinking is the shear effect that's coming in horizontal. It will probably let it last longer, if you know what I mean. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock the glue off of it. Got a little bit of squeeze out here and there. And probably do a sanding. Then we'll come back. I got a back. I'm gonna use a 1/4. Of course, it's oversized. One thing I might do is go ahead and mount it and take a flush trim and go all the way around. And that way, you're guaranteed it'd be the same size when you do it like that. But anyway, I'm gonna go and do some sanding. I don't know if y'all want to watch that or not, but I'll get it sanded up and I'll come back and we'll mount that back. What I've decided to do is go ahead. I cut the back a little bigger all the way around, so I'm gonna center this thing on here. And what I'll do, I'll take a flush trim and take care of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this thing up. Okay. What I want to show you is the distance right here is so short, because you figure a clamp, you imagine a 45-degree angle. Because this is so short, I have more clamps through here than I do out here, because of the 45. This has actually got the same coverage as it's right here. Actually, I need to move that over a little bit, but anyway, I just thought if you figure from the edge of the clamp at a 45 and see how short this is, it takes more clamps. If it's short, I could put a caul on top of this about 1 inch tall. You can eliminate some clamps that way. So what we'll do, we'll let that set up, and I might go get me a couple more. That looks like it's kind of far apart. But anyway, we'll let that set up, and then after it sets up, we'll be back. And I'll flush trim this thing around. Then I'll have some pieces to put in the center. That won't be too bad. Well, all right, we'll be back directly. The glue is set up, Now I've got this overhang that I need to flush trim off. So I purposely made it bigger so I could trim it off. But used to, what I would do before I got my new jig is I would take the bandsaw, I'd get it close, then I'd take a flush trim router, put it on a router table. I like using a router table and take my work across it. Sometimes it's the other way, depending on how big your work is. But I got a new jig now. I don't know if y'all seen the ones that's watching my channel. This is the perfect opportunity for the L fence. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use it in order to flush trim this off. If you remember the video, the ones that seen the video, and if you haven't seen it, I'll leave, there's a way to put a card on it. Otherwise, I'll just leave a link in the description to the L fence. But the way we set this up, in this situation, I only have to be a 1/4 inch tall, or a little better than a 1/4, because that's what this plywood is, and that's all I'm trimming off. So I just set it right on the deck. I just get it up there fairly close. But the key part here is, for flush trimming, I need to set this thing where the blade is just hid under there. In other words, it's not going to take any of the box off. It's just going to trim this off. That's what you're shooting for. Well, what I like to do, we'll take this right here. I'm gonna bring it in or back that way to where it'll just touch. Already touched there. So now I'll back it off this way to just to the point see, it's still touching. Okay. Okay, right there's what I'm hunting. So if anything, you want it longer after you make your first cut, you can dial it in a little closer if you need to, but usually that right there gets it done. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and see if we can't get this thing cut. So that is a flush trim. Instead of going in two steps, it just takes it right off. As long as it's within the 5 inches. Let's go ahead and catch the rest of these sides right quick. So with the new L fence, it made short order of that. Sure did, the L fence. So referring back to my drawing, I had some pieces in the center here. For instance, I think she's wanting to put cork here. We're gonna adhesive that to it where she can put her earrings in it and all that. And you're gonna have eye hooks all over this thing. Doorknobs all down through here, which hang her necklaces. And over here, I got this old dial. I'm gonna probably put 2 of them in here for her to hang stuff on. So next we're gonna get these glued in place. And then I guess then we'll be ready to, well, I'm gonna drill some holes and put this dial in, and then we'll be ready for some paint. Okay, so what we decided to do is go with some primer. The plywood's kind of rough, but I hate to paint good wood. So we decided to go with this primer, see how well we can get it to look. So once you get the primer, we're going to paint it white. So this is the white paint we're going to use right here. All right, we got our organizer. Decided to go, I don't know what they call. Do you know what they call this? You see them in toolboxes. They'll outline their tools and put them in their toolboxes. What we found that the rings will just sit right in there perfectly. Actually, I feel like it's going to work better than the cork. It's deeper, and if you put the earrings, it'll be enough depth where it'll hold the earrings. But we were putting this thing together. My wife came down there and helped me. And we're putting these eyes in with the hang stuff and whatnot. And we're putting some eyes on the side where she can hang something long or whatever. I've already put this side in. In other words, right here, the eyes we put in there. And my wife said I needed to stop. I made this little tool. It's made out of pine. I really need to get me some good hardwood. Dogwood would be a good one for this. And because it's pine, I had to put some tape around it. I just turned it down on the lathe where it'd go into the drill, and then I cut a slot in it. Slot's a little big, but I had great big eyes that I needed to work. But I drilled a pilot hole. I started it by hand. So what I do, I start this right here. Just screw it right in there. So I drilled the pilot hole. I've already drilled it. Then I start it by hand. That's not wanting to start. There we go. You want to make sure it's a hold and got it good and straight, because when this thing takes off, it pretty well goes for it. So I made that right there to put them eyes in it. And it was great big eyes for some reason I was putting in, and I made that thing because, man, you can take, especially if you're in a tight place where you can't get, a screwdriver through it. But I thought I'd show that to you. But we're gonna fill it out now, put the rings and all in it. And I hope y'all enjoyed it. Especially when I cut this slot on the table saw and setting the blade height and the fence without measuring. I used my work to set everything up, and it worked perfectly. When I got to doing that, it's when because a lot of times you'll be on the wrong side of the blade or something like that, and you'll be an 1/8 inch off here, and it was something all the time. But once I started using my work to set up my blade height and the fence, that's when things started fitting together like it should. So I hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope you learned something. I always learn something. You gotta learn, just keep learning. It's the tricks that once you learn them, it makes things easier and more accurate. And it makes you look like a professional, if you know what I mean. But anyway, hope you enjoyed it. And safe woodworking. And I'm going to let my wife see this and see. Yeah. Okay, we'll catch y'all on the next one.
You forgot the most important thing.
What's that?
That tool. Show them that. No, the other one that you use for working on brakes.
In a tight place like this right here, of course you flop it upside down. We had screwdrivers and pliers and trying to get it up in there. Ideally, it's best to do this if we put it together. Well, I did not do that. So you got to figure a way to get it done. So my wife, she's working with it, and I done one or two, and it's just, it's, you know. But anyway, I said, I need a my Carter key puller. Well, you just put it right in there and screwed it right in. Fraction of the time. She never heard of one. I don't know if y'all have heard of one or not, but this is a Carter key puller. You know, where you put your Carter keys in it, and you still see it a lot of times on wheel bearings where they got the slots in the nuts, and you put the Carter key through it and got the holes, and you but anyway, this is what you pull it out with. But it also puts them eyes in there lickety split, lickety split, quickly, yeah. Well, anyway, I guess I will call that good here. We're gonna load this thing up and show you in place. That means we're gonna go up there now and do it. Get it loaded up, get it hung, and I'll have a finished, the finished product in place, all loaded up with her endless supply of jewelry. Well, we will catch you on the next one. Appreciate you watching. Anything else, sweetie?
Even rings that don't fit.
Even rings that don't fit. Well, you never know. You might lose weight in your fingers. And
A joint was so bad.
Yeah.
We're calling this outtakes, right?
If that's what you want to do.
Bye. Do I cut it off now?
Yeah.
See, I think that'd be cute
What's that?
as an outtake.
Oh, yeah?
Don't you think?
I don't know.
I don't know. I hope I'm not.
I kind of know whenever you get on the screen, get it in the DaVinci Resolve. And sometimes I thought, well, that's plumb crazy. So, but some of it, hey, that's pretty cute.
Well, for the ending, I think you need something like, I've seen you do it where you show all the colors, like they used to when TV would go off. You know,
Color bars.
Remember back when
Color bars.
Remember back in the day, you need to do some B-roll of the knobs and stuff. And that, I don't know, filming.
Well, I'm thinking that we get our finished product, I'll get it all then. What about it?
That is a buck tool.
Buck tool. Buckeye. You ever heard of Buckeye?
Yeah.
That's what these are, eyes, right?
Right.
It's a Buckeye tool to screw in hooks and eyes.
There you go. We're gonna patent something.
We're gonna patent. I ain't gonna patent that. I wonder what it costs to patent something. You know the camera's still running. We'll see y'all. Yeah, I think they are.